Welcome to this session. I have been reviewing the results we've gotten from working with the blockage in Ellie's intestine that we reported to you on February 28th. And we have concluded that the result of our work is cure. Now that's very interesting. After all, as a 7-year-old, she had a violently inflamed appendix. It was removed. Was she cured? Here we are saying, no, she wasn't cured. Am I grateful? Incredibly. The woman's alive. She lived 67 years before the infection almost threatened her life again. At the same time, that same infection apparently was responsible for her lifelong depression, her inability to think analytically, and a number of other problems, apparently even in her vocal cords. So, would she have been better off, in my opinion, if she had done frequencies and symbols as a 7-year-old? As far as I'm concerned, obviously yes. I believe what we have now is a cure. That's still, I've said that now, and perhaps you are saying, how can I know it's a cure? After all, maybe I would have said that removing her appendix was a cure. After all, she was much healthier after that operation. And now she's much healthier after what we did. Yet here I am now making judgments about what happened 67 years ago and saying that was not a cure, and I am claiming that what I am doing now is one. How do I have the right to say that? I believe I do. Let's see if I can convince you. Let's start by saying that the body is responsible for maintaining its own health. And that when there are problems with the health that the body is not able to handle as well as it might like, it begins to produce symptoms. In this case, the symptoms were obvious. She couldn't get anything down her gut. But hey, it could be a cold, it could be the flu, it could be a problem with vision. You understand. If we assume that a symptom is the body's request for help, or as a way of saying, look, there's something here I'm not coping well with, can you help me? Then the proper response as I see it is to say, well, how can we help you? Now, I'm not saying how can I replace you. I'm saying how can I help you. There's a matter of respect here. And our ways of helping involve basically, aside from foods and herbs and spices, frequencies and symbols. She did these things. I don't think she was doing the spherotones or the movements then. That's newer. But in any case, let's start with these things. Let's assume that this is what she did. Are these two things which could, in fact, have eliminated the symptoms without producing cure? How would you do that? You would have to have some kind of aggressive treatment method that will, in fact, ensure that the symptoms went away without taking care of what the body needed help with. In order to do that, these methods must be aggressive enough to essentially act on the body in a way that the body cannot reject. Well, looking at some symbols on the screen of a computer it's a pretty gentle activity, I think. I think the body is capable of saying, I'm not interested in that. Especially since it seems to have been the body that suggested to Ellie which symbols to look at. The frequencies are a particular point that's worth mentioning here. We've had lots of experience with many years of times when the frequencies did nothing whatever. Apparently the body is capable of rejecting them. And in fact, since the frequency generator generates from 0 to 5 volts, and the electrodes are nothing but damp cloth, which is a rather high resistance, that means that the actual current is quite low. In fact, Robert Becker's book, The Body Electric, he's done a lot of research on this, specifically says that any kind of electrical stimulation of the body should involve very low currents, just like these. And that is specifically for this reason. If the currents are low enough, they do not disrupt the body's own system. The body can decide whether to accept them or to reject them. Therefore, if the symptoms are now gone, and they are now gone, it must be because the body no longer needs them. It is not because we did something to make sure the symptoms were gone. What we did then was something that was weak enough so the body could decide for itself whether to accept it. Since the symptoms now are gone, it must be that the body no longer needs them. Therefore, I think I have the right to say Ellie is cured. I suggest that you consider this when you have symptoms that you want to deal with, that you look for a modality that ensures that whatever you do, the body is strong enough to decide whether or not it wants to accept it. Now, this, for example, let's take the simplest possible drug on the market, if you will, aspirin. Everybody's got a bottle of aspirin in the drugstore, right? I'm sorry, in the bathroom. You've got it, I'm sure. Is aspirin the same as, say, vitamin C? Linus Pauling, the Nobel Prize winner, had a lot to say about that. In his book, How to Live Longer and Healthier, he quotes statistics on the number of people who have committed suicide by overdosing themselves with aspirin. You can't overdose yourself with vitamin C. You just can't do it. It's impossible. In fact, he was part of a research project to cure schizophrenics by using massive doses of vitamin C. But what I'm suggesting is it is possible to find activities which the body can decide how to react to. Taking some vitamin C is one of those activities. Taking an aspirin tablet is not. So it is possible to make up your mind, and it is possible to decide what to do. In our case, our decision was to be gentle. Therefore, I believe I can say Ellie is cured. Please think about this. Talk to you later. Bye now.